Shire pick.
Yep, I think they could have got the game. 2% is not too far away from taking the game. Of course, they did lose because of that. So, lots of things to be discussed, but we're going into game 4. It's going to be Dragonshire, guys. And this one, I think GLuck needs to come back and take the Haka instead. They were really getting pressured from the beginning. That's why they took stage dive. They lost the keep wall, half of the keep wall before the second temple phase.
Yeah.
That's like before minute 10, of course.
Now they were really behind in terms of structures for sure. Will this be the Shimada ban the first time? Nope. Tracer banned again. So no Tracer. Can't first pick the Genji. Gotta go Grey main. So they've got a strong pusher and a very quick camper on this map. Who can also do the solo camp, the night camp solo on this map after a certain point. Genji Uther is left available. That's the one thing that can go wrong if you leave this open like this, but BlossoM got what they wanted. Strong pairing. Now, question is, what's the answer? That answer has been said by many to be banning the Genji, but we've seen in the past ETC strong at shutting down high mobility heroes, Blaze as well. This is the same comp we saw earlier today to shut down the Genji. That was relatively successful. And you've also locked in everything but support. So you have flexible choices for support. Your opponent already has support, so you're not worried about it getting banned out or anything like that. Or stolen away.
Ah, I do like this ban. Putting that Junkrat out of the game.
It looks like Saren likes it more though, man. He stood up and clapped when it happened.
Well, Saren, he was going to play Blaze anyhow, so it was not his...
Sure, I just mean like maybe they were worried about a different ban.
Maybe a Rehgar, Stukov, any of the supports, but there are lots of supports out there, not just Uther. Banning that Garrosh, of course, Garrosh did save lots of his teammates.
Yeah, the taunts were good.
Taunts were also good, Gondar saving the team oftentimes, but they already have their pair. Genji plus Uther, they just have to build onto it. I think grabbing a Dehaka here.
I would love a Malthel here actually, because you don't necessarily need the global and you can dominate against Blaze and or ETC if they want to do stage dive again. And you have Uther. They can't pick Tyrael. I would love a Malthel in this situation specifically. Obviously, the Dehaka is still strong. We'll wait to see. When we saw the Jaina, I was thinking we were going to maybe see a Leoric lock in because that's been such a common pairing here, but Gondar gets his Anubarak. We've got Jaina here with Genji, who has Dragon Blade, so there's a lot of poke damage, burst, and CC. It's a very, very dangerous comp. Its weakness, I think, is damage over time, though, because Uther has that burst healing only, so something like a Gul'dan could be really strong here, I feel. Can ruin Genji setups, could punish an Anubarak, and you have that great tick damage over time. It's also very strong for the 4-man.
What else do you need? You need a support. Not less likely going to be double support this time, because there is that Anubarak already. Cocoon threat will be real against that Rehgar. They're bringing some % damage against Anubarak, which has been soft counter oftentimes. It makes it harder for BlossoM to bring in that Leoric. I think GLuck is already on top of this guessing game.
Gonna beat Dehaka. It's kind of, it feels like what I watch Wiz play Dehaka in terms of rotational play and things like that. Feels like he's the general in the general's office on comms, like yelling at people what to do while he's also split pushing and making all the right choices. It feels like he's pulling the strings when he's Dehaka, whereas when he plays more aggressive heroes like Thrall or the Malthel, he's very good at it, but he loses that ability to control the macro game because it's not a global, it's not a strong pushing hero like the Dehaka is that can get you a fort, can punish slow rotations from GLuck. So I think for those reasons they chose a Dehaka and not the Malthel, although, you know, with no potential Tyrael, Malthel could be fantastic here. We're possibly never going to see Malthel again on the next patch because he is...
Yes.
I think the patch notes said they changed his damage to 0 and...
-4? It heals the opponents now?
Yeah, something like that. Is Heroics like nerfed and stuff, you know? Buffed that
Oh
last
no!
rights?
Yeah, last right is buffed. Definitely going to see that.
What did I miss saying? What's the oh no?
What?
Oh, I thought you saw something in game. I thought someone was playing a weird hero or something. You scared me.
No. I was getting along with you on
You're
the
like,
last
Wiz
right.
is playing Chain. I'm like, no!
No, we're gonna have last rights. We did have that last week.
Yeah, it was
Once.
interesting.
And never again.
Never again, please. Not even after the buff. Just Malthael's gone. So Sonya. Although Sonya got like unnerfed. I don't know if that's official or not. I saw that, though, there posts about that.
Wolf confirmed by Wolf. Sonya's coming back into the meta, guys. Poison Spear 200%.
I think it just went back to normal, but it wasn't in the patch notes. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's not it's not on this patch. Well, like they put. I heard that her values were reduced or put back to what they normally were, but
Oh,
it
the
wasn't
basic
in the patch
attack,
notes.
at least?
Basic attack, Nerves of Steel, and the Poison Spear were all reverted.
Oh, really?
But not in the patch notes. And I don't think it was mentioned in the Malthael nerf notes either, so I don't know if that was like fixed or addressed. Maybe I missed the blue post on that one, but maybe somebody can let me know later.
Everything will be on Reddit, so just keep in touch there.
Yeah. That's where I can find all the official patch notes that aren't in the notes. And everyone can complain about Chen not getting a buff, or sometimes getting nerfed. Chen lost today, by the way, guys. We missed the earlier game. Sorry about that.
And even in the interview, SCSC said Chen is a bad hero. And that was not what I said. That's what SCSC said.
That's
so
true.
That's official now. Well, here
Going
for the invade?
Yeah, Milky Way
Really?
with a good
Without
slide.
the Titus, though.
Also, a really good slide, but Gondar gets out regardless. Gonna be failed. This means that Dahaka gets so much more done mid. As you see, bottom. Tychus is mid. And is going to rotate up now. They have the camp pushed out first, GLuck does, so that means that BlossoM is going to have a slight advantage because they're going to have the cannon towers on their side and they're going to be able to clear this already damaged camp. But let's see what happens next because Tychus moved bot. GLuck is getting more soak overall. And uh-oh, Relic in trouble. Should be healed if they have the bio kill. Does not have it. What am I saying? Rhaegar's the one they needed for the heal there. It must have been on cooldown.
Well, he's a mecha Rhaegar, so he must have bio something, right?
Yeah, that was what was tricking me. They've got the mecha Dahaka too. Not the best color though.
I know you're a big skin fan.
Yeah.
I like the originals a lot more.
Well, everyone loves when it looks like a lurker. Gondar loves to use that skin to get the first Dragon Knight of the game.
Already 2:30 in game. Just with that pick from the top lane, that was enough for them to secure a Dragon Knight already.
This just proves that my theory of Malthael was incorrect because what we saw from the Dahaka this game so far has really been control of the shrines, control of the waves, and Tychus is just kind of running around trying to clean up the mess, trying to keep the experience even, but they just could not hold on to that Dragon Shrine. So that means that Dragon Knight's up. 20 seconds to go on this one. Tons of damage done with this in the early game. More than you could ever imagine. Plus they have Dahaka with this, so any structural damage means there's threats of split pushes. See what Modern Life can do with the wave clear that Jaina can provide too, and they're just pushing all these lanes into the cannon towers. Relic's trying to slow this down. And this cannon tower dead. Second one going to take a little bit of damage. Level 7's up for BlossoM as the terrorizing continues. They are just roaming around right now.
Yeah, BlossoM actually used that Dragon Knight to the full value. Used all the time, all the HP. Didn't really bring anyone else from the other lanes because GLuck didn't really care about it. They had Tychus doing the damage. Now BlossoM, they forced the rotation, got some damage to the walls for all lanes.
Gondar, very brave invade here. Does do Modern Life was coming down, but he was a bit late. And even with Modern Life there, with the spell power reduction from the wizard, that would have been kind of nasty to take that fight. But again, rotation back for Dahaka mid. I do like that Sauron is staying in the top lane. Again, trying to minimize the experience deficit, but he's not here now. So much damage coming through the Milky Way. Relic helps body block to keep him alive, and this healing totem is actually worth its weight in whatever healing totems are bought in. worth its weight in that instead of Feral Heart, I guess. The trade-off there, that's what it's worth.
It was a scary moment for Milky Way. Dudu was about to go instant Swift Strike in to secure the kill, but it wasn't going to be close. So good patience there. But Wiz already on top here. Didn't really lose too much EXP, maybe just half the wave as he committed all the way down there. Blaze was soaking, so GLuck actually caught up the EXP somewhat, half of a level.
Yeah.
It was almost a full level apart right before.
BlossoM still on point though, or on track to hit 10 first. Try to get a second Dragon Knight. Shrines are up at 10. Oh, Milky Way doing the tank's job. Dudu doing the tank's job though. He's not a tank. Gondar comes over though. Okay, Shrines are up. Daka's going to try to squat top. Blaze is on him. Meanwhile, this push in the bottom has cleaned up the wall. It's further giving BlossoM that experience lead. Oh, if they get a pick here, it'd be huge. They get Cleanse. That's also nearly a pick, feels like. Okay, Milky Way, stun chain, does get his power slide away. Blaze versus Haka is super important right now. If either of them are able to get the solo kill, that is Dragon Knight confirmed for BlossoM. Like, really, basically if Haka was able to get it, if solo kill goes to Blaze, then nothing massive happens, but at least would buy them time for 10.
For the next few seconds, BlossoM has an advantage of 10. Overlord, they knew the rotation of Genji coming up, but Relic dies to the Water Elemental.
Yeah, Water Elemental plus that Ice Lance coming through from Modern. Water Elemental is going to get blown up here now, but very well played.
Ooh, Taiga's going down from the deflect.
Yeah, this is going to be a kill. 2 kills before 10, so BlossoM will get this Dragon Knight. Really just maximizing the lead that they had. Feels like GLuck is a little bit stumped in this game as to how to deal with this global Dahaka and where to rotate. So Tygus keeps getting picked, or at least getting nearly picked, getting damaged. This time they actually got the kill because he's trying to soak experience to catch up, but he's getting found. And a lot of that's because, I was joking earlier that Dudu was doing the tank's job, but because he's Genji, he can actually poke and look through bushes because he has an escape. So he's always getting vision. He's always tracking where the GLuck members are, where they can get a pick onto Overlord. This Dragon Knight not going to be as efficient, I think, as the first one, but still getting a lot of damage done. And might even get a second fort here if they push it hard.
They can get a second fort, and their next one should be top, and Blaze will be having a tough time defending that because they will be closer to 13 in that way.
I think they're going to get this with the Blizzard damage coming down.
They're kind of being scared. They want to go in, but because the Hakan can join anytime.
Especially next to that brush.
Milky Way not spotted, but keeping the side open. Keeping that word. Blaze had to go back now. That's even more time for Blaze to soak up EXP on top. That's having a tough time as a solo lane against the Haka. Seems like they want to work around the rotation, and they do have some answers, but BlossoM is changing their rotation every single time, so GLuck can't really follow that speed.
Yeah. It's tough, because the Tychus is the one that has to keep up, and Overlord's trying what he can, and he's doing everything correctly, doing kind of what we like to call lane swapping in the old days, where Tychus would actually be top, but this time he's like trying to match where Dahaka is and making sure they're not losing too much experience. In this case, trying to steal a neutral camp here while Dahaka's top. I mean, that's one thing you could do. It's a 5-man rotation, so they're losing experience, but maybe this gets them some structural damage. Maybe this helps them catch up by doing those, knocking those cannon towers down. So the idea here is, with this heavy rotation, BlossoM didn't realize, didn't stop it. But while they do this, Dahaka does damage to the fort directly. So it's just trying to get them on even talent here before BlossoM hits 16. Water Elemental used here, and a lot of damage done to Milky Way. Mosh is interrupted, does get the Ancestral.
Now Odin joins the team fight, so that's going to be extra damage. Now there's that Dragon Blade.
Mosh again.
Mosh misses big time.
Just trying to zone there. Dudu gets out, is actually going to go ahead and Hearth Home, but Milky Way is down. Everybody's so low here that even without more damage from Genji, they can just clean this up with Modern's Ice Lances. Very much well placed. And I mean, the top lane, we had that free push from Dahaka. Now the camp's going to clear the top fort. Keep wall is going to go down. And, Divine Shielded Dragon Blades are pretty good. They chose Greymane because they couldn't take the Genji themselves. because they wouldn't have the Uther 4 and Uther would be used against them. So they took the best they could with just the gray main that gave the Uther Genji, and that's not the main reason why they're losing. It's really the Haka pick, I feel. But in that team fight, you can just see the power of it. It's so rough.
It seems desperate. They're trying to catch the rotation up. Oh, this one's going to be tough.
This is actually crazy. I can't believe they're even trying to do
this.
this.
They don't have Jaina at least, so there's no AoE damage too much. They're going in. There's a big stun, but ETC's away from the game.
Bunker is deleted. So is Rhaegar. No more healing here. And it's just going to be resets coming through for the dashes for the Genji here without Dragon Blade. Not even needed. Funny thing is, they could have canceled the Dragon Knight to drop Jaina out and win the fight either way, but now they've won it without that. Now they've got the Dragon Knight pushing down this keep. They've got 16. With long death timers, this could actually be a game-ending push. It's going to be tough. Rhaegar's up in 5. Unfortunately, he's not really the one to save them. No Mosh Pit either.
I think they can do it. They do have Divine Shield. Dragon Blade coming back soon. Water Elemental also.
Nosong getting aggroed here by the keep. Pretty unfortunate, but 33% on this Dragon Knight. Kicks coming through. They are really trying to make this happen. They've got a 3-level lead in terms of scaling right now.
Bunker. Time.
Yeah.
Everything.
I think this is just going to be enough damage here. Dudu's doing what he can. Wiz on the backside, and BlossoM will take the series. 3-1. Mosh Pit not going to be enough to save them at the end of the day. It was a scary series to start off with a GLuck win. Game number 2 was anyone's game to take. BlossoM was able to turn it around. Game 3 with a crazy core call. GLuck was almost able to take that as well. The 3-1 scoreline does not tell the story of how close each and every game was. I feel like the 4th game was the most one-sided. And I think that GLuck lost their patience a little bit dealing with the Dahaka. And we've seen Tychus deal with this in the past by roaming around and getting that extra soak where he can. He's got decent wave clear. It's always on this map where he struggles, where he's running around trying to keep up with the global. Just couldn't make it happen. He was picked multiple times. Only killed once, I should say, but, he was put down to low, had to hearth home or use the healing fountain because Genji was always tracking him.
Whenever I'm casting GLuck, they still have the same problem. The Seron 1 getting picked off way too much in the solo lane feigns. I think it's partially due to the shot calling, how many heroes they're missing from the lane, the rotations, really not knowing the rotations coming up. He should be careful individually. Just playing in here early, you should know by watching the minimap, okay, how many are gone? Are they doing camps or are they coming up? You should kind of get a feeling on that. But oftentimes when the opponent has pretty quick tempo, because speed of rotation, sometimes he goes super aggressive, like way too far away from the wall and gets picked off. I think the snowball really starts from that moment, which is often the case.
Yeah, I feel like what happens oftentimes is, I think you're so hitting the nail on the head with this. 4-man rotation, someone's pushing a wall, and he's like, well, no one's top, so I'm really going to push this to try to make up for what happens. But what happens in that moment is they get the damage done bot. He can't do the same because he's by himself with Material, for example, or Leoric. And then they rotate up and kill him also, and then do what they did in the bot lane to the top lane because they're all 4 there. This happens a lot. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, he grows that snowball for the opponent. I think if he actually stays passive, actually lose some EXP but stays alive, that can be a lot better for your team. I think their teammates are actually doing a great job, Blue Beetle, keeping the team away. Milky Way CTC tonight, not as impressive as the other days compared to the other days.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he had lots of CCs to work against. Maybe just not feeling well as much. Overlord, when his Junkrat was banned even, I think that was a smart ban coming in. I think they were looking for that chance even. Game one, they had their best, one of the best one, really coordinated. But after that, BlossoM took it over, and the Spider Queen game, it was really close, but BlossoM at the end taking that game away from them.
I feel like they really prepared Tracer comps, and then when Tracer was banned in games 3 and 4, they just couldn't cut it anymore, and they kind of had to play on the fly, and they didn't have strong solo laners. The ETC stage dive was just ineffective on Sky Temple. They struggled against Dahaka games 3 and games 4. Those are the more one-sided ones. There were obviously some trade-offs in terms of how game 3 went with the crazy boss fights and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that they practiced really well and they prepared the Tracer draft just like we saw in game 1 from Miracle, the Tracer draft there. It's rising in popularity right now, and I think unless Tyrael gets nerfed, this is going to continue to be the case, especially when you have second pick, because you can grab that Tracer Malfurion together. You can grab the Tyrael right afterwards. Here's our results, 3-1 BlossoM. Again, much closer games than that scoreline shows. And I'm interested to see who we're going to hear from on BlossoM's side. Maybe Wiz, just simply because he was the one who controlled the macro and